Hey, what's up, Brady and Sir PB? I got both of your guys' sabers done today, so I wanted to do one demo to encompass them both, so I don't like do one video and then say the exact same thing in another video right after it, right? So PB, I've got yours right here, which is installed with my crystal chamber add-on, and then Brady, I've got yours right here, and you opted for the Eco Chassis version. So let's go over my desk and take a look at these guys.
Hey, what's up, Sir PB and Brady? I got your guys' sabers done today at the same time, so I just figured I would make one demo to cover them both. So I've got PB's right here, which we'll go over first, and then Brady, I've got yours over here. We're just going to put it off to the side for a second, no particular order. But here you go, PB. This is your Scraptec. Really do appreciate both of your guys' support on this run. This is something I've been working on probably for about 8 months now, from the inception of me designing it and then trying to get it manufactured, and then finally getting it the other day, and then now I'm finally putting them together, right? So really do appreciate you guys' patience and your support. But anyway, yours, PB, is installed, as you know, with my crystal chamber add-on that we'll go over here in a second. Both of them have a red tint over the OLED screens because I just thought it looked cool and it went with the saber. This one in particular is just running my Scraptec font. That was made by my buddy Keenan over at KSith, so you will see his OLED animation here that I put on here as an ode to Keenan. A copy of the config file also on the SD card. All right, so you've got an OLED screen right here. This is a 2-button setup, so your 2 switches are underneath this clamp card. You've got power here, aux down here, okay? You've got a 10 pixel accent strip underneath this guy right here. You're running in this guy it's very hard to see because this saber is long and it won't focus, but that is a KR Sabers lit Neopixel connector. All right, you can see your LED strips on the outside of the handle. That's how the saber was designed. Those are 18 pixel strips on each side. It was weathered and then heat stained. This piece right here being steel, so I went ahead and I heat blued that. All right, and then weathered the brass and the aluminum and scuffed up the anodizing on the handle. You've got a main crystal chamber here, so this lights up. All right, and we'll just take your handle off to access the chassis. So PB, thanks for signing up for this add-on that I did. I've been having a lot of fun teaching myself how to do these new crystal chambers in the new program that I'm using. So this one being one of the first 5 that I designed, really, if we can stay focused on that guy. So this is printed out of brass. I just weathered it to match the saber. You got your crystal in there. This takes a removable 18650. So just be careful when you're putting this in. I kind of cradle the battery here, cradle the chassis in my hand, and then snap it in place. Okay, just don't go slamming it in. The chassis is glued to the crystal chamber. There's 2 pegs and holes on the inside where these marry up. I use a different kind of glue than CA glue. It's very strong, but still take a little bit of care. All right, so you've got your strip here, 28mm Smuggler's Outpost Elite speaker, your kill switch here like I like to do. Of course, your Proffies board here, it is glued down to the shelf, and access to your SD card and your micro USB, and another LED strip right here. So we'll go ahead and flip this on.
I hate it here.
So that is the random boot up sound that you will get with this particular sound font. You're welcome. Anyway, we'll turn the light off. You can see your 2 crystals are doing a little something different, so they are programmed differently. These 2 are wired in line with each other, so this side is doing exactly what this side is doing over here. All right, and then you've got kind of a kit scanner going on for this guy right here. All right, go ahead and turn the light back on, hit power. And that's kind of how the animation changes when the saber's on. Okay, we'll hit auxiliary. When you boot the saber, you'll see KSith's logo right there on the OLED screen. All right, and it stays on there until you turn the saber on, then you'll see mine. All right, you've got twist off. We'll come over here and put our handle on. and go right on for you. This is a beefy boy, so when you get it all tightened up, it's got lots of weight from the brass pommel, it's got lots of weight over here from the brass neck, and the fact that it's a pretty hefty saber in general. So it should feel pretty solid in hand. You can see your LED strips through the handle. Alright, this is your blade retention, so you don't need any tools. Just come over here and back this guy out of the blade socket. This is made for a 7/8 inch blade. So on this particular saber, I decided to make this a little bit bigger than the blade, so the blade can slide right through, right to the pins. Alright, we'll come over here and lock it down with this guy. Remember, that's our blade retention. So lock that down, hit power, and it lights the blade right up. Get the blade locked up. Now, any of these that I put the Scraptec font on, which will be all of them, they are running also a blade style that Brian Connor made for me to go along with this sound font from KSIF. Doesn't show up very well on a small test blade, but when you put a full-length 7/8 blade in here, you'll notice it does do a staggered ignition, because right at the front you can hear how it's trying to start. Right, and then when you let it run, every once in a while you'll get a dip in the hum. It's meant to simulate that this is having a hard time staying on, because it's a Scraptec. You'll also see that animation in the blade, so it's not just the sound, you'll see it in the blade. All right, but when we're done, we can come over here and turn it off with the kill switch, and of course we'll take the battery out because I need it to test. All right, you can see the saber on. Flip the switch and it kills power just like it should, and then you should be able to, if you can't get it with your finger, just get you a small tool. I did make it a little bit tight, put it in frame where you can see me work, and just pop it out like that. All right, and then we'll put the handle back on. But PB, that is basically your saber and how it functions. So let me know if you have any questions. We'll get this out in the mail to you first thing on Monday, so we'll put that off to the side, and Brady will go over yours. So yours functions the exact same way, minus the additional crystal chamber, because you opted to go with the Eco chassis that I designed for it, and then you had me add a few additional fonts, being from Kyberphonic. So you've got the Sabered Hand, F1 Racer. What else do you got on here? Sabered Hand, F1 Racer, you got my Scraptec font, you've got the Sons of Corellia font as well, all from Kyberphonic on this one. All right, so same setup, power, auxiliary back here, red tinted OLED screen, that 10 pixel LED strip. All right, this is also your blade retention. You come over here and take your handle off, and your particular chassis is printed out of red carbon fiber, where Logan's was printed out of black carbon fiber. All right, so your Proffies board here, access to everything, and then your kill switch. Everything basic. It's basically this chassis, but on the other one where I had the add-on, I took this section out right here for the add-on piece. All right, so we'll come over here again. Just kind of put your battery in like that, cradle the chassis, and snap it in. All right, we'll come over here and flip it on. Now again, when I turn this off, you see your main crystal chambers kind of pulsing there. You get this piece right here that's doing kind of a kit scanner, and then these two sides are wired together, so they do the same thing. All right, turn it on. You've got twist off as well, and then we'll just come over here and slide your handle on. Lock it down, hit power. I did make this go blue when the saber's on because I just thought that looked cool. Twist off, and then we'll take this guy, just get it out of the blade socket. Put our 7/8" blade in here until it hits the pins. Lock it down with our blade retention. Oh, I didn't have it all the way out. Lock it down with our blade retention here and hit power. And then yours also lights up a blade very well. I'm going to leave it sit for a minute to see if you can hear that dip in the hum and then see it on the saber. Right there, right. So on a full length blade, you'll see it it'll dip from the tip of the blade to about midsection of the blade, and it'll fire back up. It is programmed for a full length blade, but of course I've got a test blade in here, so you're not getting the full effect of everything that's happening past this LED count in the blade, if that makes sense. All right, but to go to your next sound font, hit auxiliary.
Now this is pod racing.
So on this one, everything is yellow. All right. Next one, Son of Corellia, which was a Kyberphonic and Nerf Herder Customs collab for the Corcus. Next one,
Get the young men together and go!
Sabered Hand. So I try to give you a few, and like each one have a different color, so you'd have some variety. All right, now of course the OLED screen will stay red because this is a white OLED screen from KR Sabers. This is what I'm using in all my builds, but I put a red tint over it, so that color will not change. All right.
Scraptec.
And we're back to the beginning. So we'll go ahead and take the blade out, untwist that, pop our blade out here. I did sand down my blade a little bit, but measured this guy. The opening in the emitter here is exactly 7/8 inch in diameter. So if you have a blade that's a little bit bigger than that at the tip where the PCB is, which is pretty standard because there's a little bit of there's some pressure going on here when you build these guys up and you pop this in and you glue it. This from time to time can be just a little bit over 7/8 inch. So if you do a little bit of sanding there, it'll fit in. I think I sanded that blade right before I made this particular demo. It took me like 3 minutes. All right. Then anybody who's curious on the grit, I just use a 240 grit. It's a good combination of being aggressive, but not too aggressive that it's going to eat up my blade and make it look bad. But that is basically how you run this one, Brady. So let me know if you have any questions as well. It is Sunday today, but I will get both of your guys' sabers out in the mail first thing Monday morning. All right? Thanks, fellas.